Israeli intelligence claims the strike was surgical, guided by Tehran insiders. Ali Larijani, the Revolutionary Guard's architect, allegedly eliminated. Leaders vanish, military networks falter. The Strait of Hormuz trembles. Is Iran crumbling from within? Or is this just the first act of a larger, deadlier conflict? Israel's campaign against Iran's leadership appears to be intensifying, with officials suggesting that intelligence from within Tehran played a role in the reported strike that killed senior Iranian figure Ali Larijani. According to an Israeli official, tips from residents inside the Iranian capital helped pinpoint Larijani's location, enabling what Israel has described as a precise strike.
The assassination of Larijani was made possible thanks to valuable intelligence that Israeli intelligence services received from residents of Tehran over the past 24 hours.
The claim, if confirmed, would indicate a significant level of internal vulnerability within Iran's security environment, as well as possible dissent among sections of the population. The reported killing of Larijani has not been independently confirmed by Iranian authorities, and conflicting signals have emerged from Tehran. The Israeli official added that the country's intelligence services continue to receive numerous reports that precisely guide them to the locations of Basij and IRGC checkpoints, significantly aiding their efforts.
In recent days, Larijani had behaved arrogantly, appearing frequently in public, including at Quds Day rallies, engaging with both local and international media, and thereby exposing himself to public view, which ultimately led to his identification.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also publicly stated that Larijani was killed in recent airstrikes, framing the development as a turning point in the broader confrontation.
This morning, we eliminated Ali Larijani. Ali Larijani is the boss of the Revolutionary Guards, which is a gang of gangsters that in practice runs Iran. Alongside him, we also eliminated the commander of the Basij, the helpers of the gangsters, who spread terror in the streets of Tehran and other Iranian cities against the population.
Netanyahu suggested the strike could have wider political implications inside Iran, arguing that the removal of key figures may create space for internal upheaval. Meanwhile, Israeli officials have signaled that the operation is part of a wider strategy aimed at systematically targeting Iran's leadership and military infrastructure. A senior Israeli political official speaking to Channel 12 said the campaign is picking off Iranian leaders one by one, adding,
"They fled to tents, so we are killing them there."
According to the same official, Israel is pursuing 5 key objectives in the ongoing war. The first is to target Iran's weapons industry, with a particular focus on ballistic missile production, including entire manufacturing facilities rather than just components. The second objective is to complete the destruction of Iran's nuclear program, which Israel has long viewed as an existential threat. The third goal, more politically sensitive, is to create conditions that could lead to regime change within Iran. While Israeli leaders have not always stated this openly, recent comments suggest it is now a central element of the strategy. The fourth objective involves coordination with the United States in securing the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global energy choke point that Iran has threatened to block during the conflict. Finally, Israeli officials say their overarching aim is to ensure that Iran, even in the future, cannot use control over the strait or energy routes as strategic leverage, including through the development of alternative pipelines. At the same time, the conflict continues to widen. Iran has responded with missile and drone attacks across the region, targeting Israeli and US-linked sites, while tensions remain high in neighboring countries. For decades, Ali Larijani was a name that rarely made international headlines. He was the quiet force, the man in the room who never needed to be the loudest voice to be the most important one. Born in 1958 in Najaf, Iraq, into what Time magazine once called the Kennedys of Iran, Larijani came from a family so embedded in the Islamic Republic that their fingerprints touched nearly every institution in the country. His father was a senior Shia cleric. His brother Sadiq ran Iran's judiciary for a decade. His brother Mohammad Javad was Khamenei's foreign affairs advisor and, remarkably, the man who introduced the internet to Iran. Another brother served as deputy health minister. This was not just a political family, it was a dynasty. And yet, what makes Larijani genuinely unusual in a regime full of hardliners and ideologues is this: he is also a philosopher, not in the vague, honorary sense that politicians sometimes claim. He holds a doctorate from the University of Tehran, wrote his thesis on Immanuel Kant, and has published 6 books on philosophy. He lectures at the university level. He has written serious, peer-reviewed academic articles on the philosophy of mathematics that scholars in the West have engaged with and debated. Dr. Ofra Rector of Tel Aviv University, who has studied his work, says,
"By paying attention to Kant's methodological conception and through non-trivial and non-dogmatic research, Larijani succeeds in taking sophisticated aspects of Kant's thought and utilizing them."
That is high praise from an academic, but here is where it gets complicated, because the same man who wrote carefully about truth and freedom also spent 11 years running Iran's state broadcaster, tightening censorship, building the propaganda machine, and once approved the production of a fake film designed to smear a reformist presidential candidate. The man who wrote about freedom of thought was the same man building the architecture to suppress it. His argument, laid out in his own writings, goes something like this. He believed that all human beings have a right to freedom of thought, but then came his conditions.
Everything that can spiritually elevate society should enjoy freedom in its domain, whereas anything that leads to social degradation should be considered as exceeding the bounds of spiritual freedom.
In other words, freedom, yes, but only the kind he approved. His career moved through every major center of power in the Islamic Republic. Revolutionary Guards officer during the Iran-Iraq War, culture minister, head of state broadcasting, chief nuclear negotiator, Speaker of Parliament for 12 years, advisor to Khamenei, and finally, Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, the body that sits above all others on matters of war and peace.